The following is a pre-recorded show. Welcome to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers, certified financial planner professional and founder of Akers Financial Group. Now, helping you win in your retirement, here's Brian Akers.
Hello, I'm Brian Akers, and today I have with me certified financial planner practitioner Alex Monk. Good morning, Alex.
Brian, it's good to see you.
Nice to see you. You still feeling okay? You've been working in the industry 10 years, and you've been studying a lot and knowing your stuff, going to conferences, getting educated.
I lost my hair, but I have a nice looking head, so we're good to go.
Well, this makes you look smarter each and every day. Now, my name is Brian Akers. I am the president of Akers Financial Group, and we put on this show, Winning in Retirement. And what we've done for this week is the following. We've put together retirement questions that you need answered right now. So retirement questions you need answered right now. This is the show you need to listen to. If you're planning for retirement, about to retire, or in retirement, this show is filled with information that's important to you. Of course, those that have that dream of retirement, you need to listen to these things that people need to go through to make sure they can actually retire. In today's times, there are many things going on, and we want to give you our thoughts from a financial advisor's perspective, thoughts that lead to action. So we put together this show just for you guys, a show to go over our clients' concerns, our thoughts, and the type of actions we do every day for our clients. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, Monk, let's start with clients' concerns. Clients call in, and they have a lot of things going on in their life right now, of course. What are some client phone calls that you've been having recently?
So many people call, and it's always something they see on the news or this or that. But the biggest concern is, Alex, am I going to be okay? Do I have enough money to retire and to do everything I want? Inflation has become a reality here recently, and people are spending more money on things that they just have to buy. So it's those must-haves that they're worried about, and they need to know that their money's going to last their entire life.
Yeah, one of the hard parts there is when you start out saying hello to a new client, you got to figure out who they are and what's going on in their life. We call that your financial fingerprint, where we got to get to know the person. But as we get to know the client over time, then they give us that kind of call. And then we say, well, based on what we've been working on, you're close to being able to retire. Or, yes, we know we're ready. You're financially independent. And that's a good place to be when you have a financial advisor beside you, giving you the advice you need to get through certain things like this. Now, you've seen the market going up and basically getting a lot of gains, and people are a little imbalanced. And when it comes to having maybe too much growth, you see the inflation, you see the idea of, can I retire? Have you had that question? Can I retire?
A lot of people are looking to jump ship early right now. They're having to drive back to work, and they want to know, can I quit now? And the biggest thing is knowing your numbers.
Yeah.
Let's know what we need, and then from there, we can decide, is this the right decision for me and my family?
Right. So when you say the number, what's the key numbers that you look at?
I want to know what you need every month. I'm not a number guy, meaning you don't have to have X, Y, and Z saved, but you need to know how much you have coming in and how much you have going out. And that's what's important. It's a game of cash flows.
Right. So one of these questions is, what is that number? What is your need? Have you ever looked at it? I think it's very, very important to think about what is my need each and every month, and then break it out based on your paycheck so that you know that you got things covered. Now, it's a worse way of saying it is getting on a budget. But getting on a budget really sounds awful. What we're trying to do is just seeing, where is it going? Do you know where your money's going?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a budget. If you say that word in front of my wife, she has a panic attack.
Oh, don't put me on no budget. Or, Brian, you're going to put us on a budget? You've been on a budget your whole life. The budget might be you spending everything you've got plus some. Now, what we do is we start out with the financial fingerprint is, give us some bank statements. Give us the credit statements, the debt statements. Now, one way to tell how your budget's going is, do you have money saved or do you have credit card debt? It's real simple. If you got credit card debt and nothing saved, your budget's in the negative.
And you got to put in some work to fix that, because it's not going to fix itself.
Oh, yeah. Right now, the whole demand culture right now, everybody wants to buy all kinds of things. They're getting back out again, traveling, doing stuff. And what they want is all kinds of things. That's why the supply and demand when it comes to inflation is great demand at the moment. And one of the problems with that is people are sort of in a frenzy buying things, and they might be paying too much for things. Any examples of that?
No. Yeah. So if you're buying a house right now, good luck.
Yeah.
Cars, hard to find.
Right.
And, it's a weird time in that people see what their house is worth and they want to sell it immediately. The problem is, where are you going to go?
Where are you going to live?
You're going to have to spend more on wherever you're going. So is that the right decision? And it's not a decision that you want to just make. You need to think about it. It's a big deal.
Well, many times in life, you don't want to make market timing decisions with the fundamental pieces in your financial plan. Fundamental pieces are, should I be out of debt? Should we buy a house? Where should we buy a house? Should I have an emergency fund? You shouldn't play market timing with any of that. You should have an emergency fund. You should be building that right now, 3 to 6 months. The reason we're trending towards 6 months save is because of all the unknown that we've seen the last couple of years. Having that money saved, yes, you earn zero on that kind of money, but by having that money set aside, you're building the foundation for financial success where you can have higher deductibles on insurance. You can then invest your money instead of sitting at earning zero because you have enough emergency fund, enough liquid money to survive the worst case scenarios in life. So when we're talking about questions people need to think about, things that you have to have answered right now so you can be able to retire and start thinking about it, it starts with this cash flow. Retirement readiness is about understanding the cash flow. And then what are some other questions that people need to address?
Right now is a real good time to look at your portfolio and make changes that you've been putting off, or if you don't know where your money is, now's a good time to look. Because if you don't have that balance, you got to have that risk reward balance everywhere in life, but especially when it comes to your money. So now is a good time to look at it. Are you taking the right types of risk? Do you know what risks you're taking? Is this money going to stay high, or is the market going to stay high forever? Eventually it's going to go down. Are you prepared for that?
There's a word called asset allocation, which we're going to cover later on in the show, a little bit more detail. But the idea is, where is your money? Just like the idea is, where's your cash flow? Where's your paychecks going? Where is your actual investment money? What's invested in? Do you know? All important things you need to understand is, where is your money? Make sure you also know about your debt. Make sure you know when it's going to be paid off. Make sure you're putting enough money towards the debt that you're going to achieve it being paid off before retirement. One of the easiest ways to retire is to retire with no bills. Now, some people would argue about having a mortgage in retirement versus not having a mortgage. My answer is, the lower the bills you have, the easier it is to retire. If you're debt free, you can retire a lot easier. Most people that have all their bills paid, they have this freedom financially that you can't explain until you experience it, I guess. But it's an amazing type thing for people to have that kind of financial freedom, knowing that the money coming in is discretionary. There's standard bills, but there's no debt.
And having that financial freedom or independence you mentioned, Brian, is a huge deal. And even for people that are in that position, it's still sometimes scary to stop getting a paycheck. And that's what we do, is we explain how you're going to get paid. We show you where your cash flow is going to come from. Turn your nest egg into income. Like, you don't do that. People don't do that until they retire. We do that every day.
Yeah. Well, when you think about the number of people we meet a week at Akers Financial Group, when we sit down and talk with people about where they are, the newer clients, they're coming in saying, I want to retire in the next 6 months. How can I do it? And some of them have a lot of work to do to be able to retire. Some don't, depending on how financially disciplined they've been. So when you look at your personal finances and you're thinking about, where am I? Can I retire someday? What you need to do is say, well, where's your money? Like, you need to know. A lot of people, when they know the answer, won't look. They won't put it together.
And it can be scary the first time, but it's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. We've seen all types of situations. We want to do what's best for you.
I've found that the higher the income, the higher the need. Normally, the more underfunded they are percentage-wise, because they might say, "Oh, I've saved a couple $1 million," and I say, "Well, that's a good start, but it's nowhere near enough for what you need based on your income." So, if somebody makes $200,000 a year, $200,000 a year. If you think about retirement and you got to pay taxes on that, you got to make a lot more money than that to get a net $200,000.
Did you say taxes?
Yeah, well, taxes are a fun topic. But when you think about people that need a high level of income throughout their retirement years, they need millions of dollars saved in that $4 to $6 million range just to try to meet their basic needs, not to do all the extra that they might want to do.
And it's tough to go backwards. It's like once you've tasted the other side or that higher number, to retreat is not your goal. Like, you want to retire and live the same lifestyle you've worked for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those targets, is where you choose 85% of your income and try to hit that target, and then do the math. And that's what financial planning does, is try to do the math. Now, I did mention taxes. You're right, Alex. And taxes, there's all kinds of rumors about all kinds of things happening on taxes. What's your just a quick thought on that?
There's tax changes coming. The ones that they just passed won't really have much impact for 2 or 3 years, but there's more coming.
Right. And so what happens is there are things we need to do when it comes to taxes. 2021 could be one of the best tax years. What I mean by that is the best year to pay tax. I mean, and so we have a lot of topics to talk about when we start considering paying the tax now. Now, clients' concerns, Alex, there's many of them out there. So far, we've covered things like retirement or retirement ready. Do we have enough money? Can I make it? Things like taxes going up, a little bit about inflation, about investment allocation. So we've touched a little bit on all those topics. But we got a lot planned for you today, so we're going to dive a little bit deeper as we keep going. But make sure you understand the following, that at Akers Financial Group, we want you in retirement to have the biggest worry of your day be about where you're going to drink your morning cup of coffee. Or every day seems like a Saturday free of stress. Or your retirement income or investments are taken care of by the team of advisors at Akers Financial Group. If this is what you want, it's not too late. We want to provide that for you. So begin by calling Akers Financial Group to schedule your free meeting. Call us at 833-WIN-RETIRE, 833-WIN, WINRETIRE. When you call, leave us a voice message, and Susan will call you back on Monday to schedule a phone message, virtual Zoom, or in-person meeting with one of our team of advisors. Start planning for retirement now. Call us at 833-946-7384 or visit AkersFinancialGroup.com. Pay tax now and never again? We'll talk about this in the second quarter.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Mr. Announcer just welcomed you back, but I'm going to welcome you back too. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers, and here with me is Alex Monk. We're both certified financial planner practitioners at Akers Financial Group. Today's show is called Retirement Questions You Need Answered Right Now. We're going to talk about many, many topics, but this quarter, the second quarter of the show, we're going to talk about the big one, the taxes. And that's the question, Alex. That's this. Pay tax now and never again. What's your thoughts on that comment?
You know, that's kind of a tricky one, Brian, because we don't know the future, but we know that today our tax rates are really good. So this could be the best year to pay taxes ever. And, you know, I know you've been doing a lot, but I've been doing a lot as well of Roth conversions for clients. And that's where we look and say, okay, where's your income at this year? How much room do we have left in your tax bracket? How much can we convert to Roth? And that means we pay the taxes now, and that money grows tax-free and comes out tax-free, as long as you meet certain rules, but you know they're very minimal once you're over 59.5. This might be the last couple of years where we can do that. And I know you've been doing a lot of Roth conversions. I know I have. And it's a big, big, big topic.
Right. So the first thing here in the second quarter is this, is have you looked into a Roth IRA, Roth 401k, Roth TSP? Now, there's contributions where you can save money there. That's where you pay tax now. When you make a Roth contribution, it goes into an account, and then it grows tax-free for retirement. Tax-free means all interest, dividends, capital gains, growth is all tax-free for when you take it out. That becomes an excellent way to take money out if tax rates do go up over time. We know for sure that taxes are going up in 5 years. The tax rates we have today are going to sunset. January 1st of 2026 will be back to the old tax rates. If you're in a 12% rate, you'll be at 15. If you're in 22, you'll be at 25. If you're at 24, you'll be at 28. And the rates keep going up from there. The thing is this, there's Roth contribution. You got to make a certain amount of income to be eligible to do that. But right now in 2021, Roth conversion is eligible for anybody at any income. And I mean that, anybody at any income. Roth conversion is where you take an IRA, a tax-deferred investment. You pay the tax now by converting, changing it from your IRA into your Roth IRA. Now, in cases that we've done, an example might be someone where we're going to convert $100,000 at one time. They do have to pay federal tax on that money. And here in Maryland, you got to pay Maryland tax. That could cost 20%. At a $100,000 level, you're probably closer to 28% when it comes to paying a tax, almost 30%. And what we got to do is a tax estimate. We got to know the investments you have. Sometimes we got to create a receiving Roth to take the Roth conversion. Had one case where the only deferred money was in an old 401k plan. We had to roll that money out to an IRA first, and then out of that IRA, convert it to a Roth. When you get it to a Roth, it then grows tax-free for your future. And that's the reason we need everyone to think about Roth at this time.
And if you're sitting on a lot of cash in the bank and you're looking at your statements and you're earning maybe a penny or a quarter every month, why not use that money to prepay your taxes while taxes are on sale? I mean, when things go on sale, people go out and they buy as many as they can, typically, right? Mm-hmm. Well, taxes are on sale. We know for a fact, like you just said, they're going up in the future, and they may go up even sooner than that.
Yeah, they could. None of the new laws out there are raising taxes on everybody yet. That's all talk still. Nothing's been happening that's going to affect your tax rate. So we know what the rates are this year, and we do know what the rates are this year, and it looks like they're not going to do any retroactive things yet. But we're not done the year yet. So retroactive, what I mean by that is they did pick a September date for capital gains on high income people, but that was a proposal. That wasn't a law. They actually creating the law in the tax code. When that changes, we'll tell you about it. But right now, under the current law, we think 2021, you got to look at a Roth. Now, think about Roth conversion. There's a deadline, right? There's timing. You have to get it done quickly here.
Yeah, so it depends on where your money is, but 12/31 is a hard close for the year, and usually wherever your money's being held, they need a week, 2 weeks. Typically, the first week of December is the cutoff.
Yeah, they're using that Friday, December 3rd, as a cutoff date if you want to guarantee it gets done. After that, it's more of a roulette if they can get the paperwork done. With the amazingness of people working at home, large corporations are slower with their paperwork. There's no other way of putting it. It's slower. One step at a time, one department at a time. It's taking longer to get paperwork processed. The more digital paperwork you can do, the better. The more online, the better. So when it comes to your thoughts right now, think in your mind about what we've always been taught. And that is defer your taxes to your future. You're going to retire at a lower tax rate. I'm telling you that is not the thinking we need to have. Our thinking is this. This is our lowest tax rate right now. In retirement, we could be paying the same rate or higher. If we paid the same rate or higher, we should definitely consider a Roth. There are cases where people have high income and they know for sure they're going to be living off half of their income or less in retirement because they did not save enough. In those cases, they will pay at a lower rate. And when we do the tax calculation, we'll say, no, Roth doesn't make sense for you. But what happens is this. You must consider a Roth IRA contribution, a Roth conversion. The conversion is what has a deadline to get it in 2021. Pay tax now, never again is the thought that you need to think about with your advisor, accountant, or by calling a team of advisors here at Akers Financial Group.
And the downside to this that we're talking about, Brian, is that we've already paid our taxes.
Yes.
So,
well, and like you think about it, if you have a $1 million IRA, you don't have a $1 million IRA. You have like a $700,000 IRA because you have a partner in your retirement account. And that's the Uncle Sam and the taxes for the state that you live in. Now, if I could sing, I would say it's the Roth season. But
please don't.
Come on, let me sing, Alex. All right, but it's Roth season. You need to think about it. For conversions, it's Roth season. I don't know how many times to say. I think I said it enough, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the 5 years of sunset's a big deal. The reason is that without any changes, the tax law of 2018 ends. They did not make the personal tax changes permanent. They made it temporary. The only thing they made permanent in the law was the corporate tax rates. And that's something that is going to be a lot harder for them to unravel that in Congress. What we see right now under personal taxes is people need to look at where they are. Now, in the cases that I've been working on, the higher and higher income that people are, the easier it is to explain that the Roth conversion just works. Because we know if you make over $400,000 a year, that is one of the targets on the tax laws. They're working on changing the high-end rates, working on changing capital gains and how that would work, trying to pull back. And if any of that occurs, then we know for sure they pay more. So if you're at whatever income level, you need to look at these Roth conversions. I do believe the younger you are, let's say you're 30 years old, you worked at a company 5 years, and you have a 401k. 401k, you got $10,000 in it, and you're wondering, should you convert that now? And my answer is yes. Now, what you could do, you can convert, let's say, half of it, $5,000 here in November, and then you convert the other $5,000 in January, and then that money can grow for the next 30 years till 59.5, tax-free. Tax-free growth is what we're shooting for. Because tax-free with growth is tax-free income. It's tax-free for you and your beneficiaries.
It also gives you other sources of money that aren't all taxable.
Yeah.
Because if you're retired, and like Brian said, if you had $1 million in your 401k and it's all taxable, well, if you need 100,000, then you have to take 150. So the math on having different buckets of money to pull from, different tax classifications, is really, really good so that you're never in a situation where you only have one type of money. And that can get you stuck. And one thing we know today, taxes aren't going to go down in the future. We're spending a lot of money as a country. There's a lot of people that are concerned, why, the government's doing this, that, et cetera. We're going to have to pay for it one way or the other. So worst case scenario, they raise taxes in 2026, but most likely they'll do it sooner if they can. So doing it today prepays some of that, and it gives you more money in retirement. So if you're working or you have extra cash flow right now, think of it as prepaying some of your retirement expenses. Mm-hmm. And by paying it now, you're probably going to pay less than you would in the future.
Right. So you could do that at your work if they offer a Roth option. So at work, you can do a 401k, 403b, TSP, things like that. If they offer a Roth option, instead of being pre-tax, you'd pay tax now. What that means is that if you try to save $100 into a Roth, you're going to lose maybe $115, $130 off of your bring home pay. If you receive raises and you have the ability to save more money, we want you to consider saving at a Roth at your work. Now, our general advice over the years has been this: maximize your match. So that means if they match 3%, you should put 3% at least. Now, the younger you are, you might match a tax-deferred retirement account at 3%, and then you do a Roth with the rest. In 2021 rules, you get $6,000 if you're under 50, $7,000 over 50. That's going to go up in 2022. Not going to say the number, that want to confuse you, but right now you can do $6,000, which is $500 a month if you're under 50 years old. Over 50, you can do $7,000, and you can also maximize at work. The more you put away, you're setting yourself up for an excellent retirement.
Right, you're investing in your future, and that's what it's about, is becoming financially independent down the road. I mean, that's why you work, right? I mean, we work so that we can do what makes us happy, protect our family, spend time with, our loved ones.
Yeah, absolutely. So When you retire and you come in for that meeting with the team of advisors here at Akers Financial Group, we want to be able to say to you, we got all these buckets set up. We're going to start turning them on. And how much income would you like? And then we work out a net after-tax income flow. We take that number and we start to use the money from the different sources that you have. Now, during your 60s, we do our best to live off the interest and not off the principal. Later on, we start using some principal. Akers Financial Group, we're local, we're independent. We don't report to a big company on Wall Street. We report to you. We do have offices in Lutherville and Forest Hill here in Maryland, but we meet people all around the state, all around the country. To begin winning in retirement, go ahead and give us a call at Akers Financial Group to schedule a free meeting with one of our team of advisors. Call us at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. When you call, you can leave us a voice message, and Susan will call you back on Monday to schedule that in-person meeting with one of our team of advisors. Start planning for your retirement now. Call 833-946-7384 or visit AkersFinancialGroup.com. Does the word inflation inflate your worries? We will deflate your worries after this.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. I'm Brian Akers, president and founder of Akers Financial Group. And here with me today is Alex Monk. We're both certified financial planner practitioners. As a financial advisor, we meet with many, many different clients at different ages as we get them ready for all their goals. One of the big goals is retiring and being ready to retire. So today the show is this: retirement questions you need answered right now. Yes, we've talked about a lot of different topics. And then this, here in the second half, the big topic for this is this question that we set aside here for Alex. And that is this: Alex, when it comes to inflation, I said, does the word inflation inflate your worries? That Alex will deflate your worries. Now, and you knew I was going to say that. Alex is going to deflate your worries. But the word inflation, can you break it down, what it is, and then go from there?
All right. So inflation, let's make it simple. So you get a beach ball, a volleyball thing that you take it to the beach, right? You buy it in the package.
It's squished.
It's squished.
Yep.
Okay, so let's assume that is the price of things today.
Okay.
And then you get to the beach and you pump some air into it and the thing gets bigger. Well, that's the price of things tomorrow.
Bigger. Okay.
So things are going to cost more, and you're seeing it everywhere. So you hear this word transitory, whatever that means, it doesn't matter. You're paying more for things that you need every day.
The Snicker prices have gone up.
Gas is more expensive.
Yeah.
Wood, lumber, everything, cars.
Yeah.
Some of it's supply and demand. Some of it's, who knows what it is. But how do we invest in an environment where there's low interest rates and high inflation?
Yeah, that doesn't seem right, because if you want to keep your money with low risk, like in the bank, you lose to inflation.
So like last year, if they say inflation was 6, you had all your money in the bank and you earned 0, that means you lost 6% of your purchasing power.
But the crazy thing is that even when interest rates are higher, most short-term CDs are always losing purchasing power because they never keep up with inflation fundamentally. But right now, it's even worse than ever.
Yeah, it's worse than ever for sure. And in a low interest rate environment, how do you earn money? And the answer is you have to take risk. And that's why you see the stock market operating, working the way that it is. There's no other place for this money to go to achieve the returns that we need to keep up with inflation. Mm-hmm. Unless you have time. So there's other ways to invest. You can invest, in fixed things that you commit time, not risk. Mm-hmm. And they're not going to keep up with inflation 100%, but they'll pretty much match it. But you have to have time, and then you need to balance that with your risk. And you need to own things that are non-correlated. That's a big word, Brian. But it means that they're different. They're going to act differently. So gold, commodities, real estate, hard assets, things that are, I guess, physical assets. That's where you want to be, or at least have exposure during inflationary times.
Right. So in inflationary times, is stocks a good place to be for the long term?
Yes. If the stocks that you're buying have price control, meaning if it's a company that can charge more for its goods based on inflated costs, then you'll participate in those gains. Right. Now, if it's, overall, the answer is yes.
All right. Now, what I'm hearing is fundamental investments, and the market has been nothing but the opposite of fundamental over the last year and a half. It's been a little crazy at times, chasing stocks that they now call meme stocks, companies that were dead, and then they've gone up to 300% or more. And that would be an example of stocks not to be in with inflationary environment, because inflationary environment means you got to be competitive at higher prices, and you got to be able to make profit. Inflation squeezes companies' profits. You got to have cash flow to handle that, and you got to have some cash going into it. The hard part when I think about inflation and I think about clients, there's some fundamental things about retirement. If you're working for a job that provides a pension right now, if you're a newly hired, one of the things that they've done to your pension is they've limited the inflation that they're going to give you in retirement. The cost of living adjustments might be maxed out at 3%. COLA, right? And it sounded good when inflation was 1. When inflation's 5.9, like it is for Social Security this year, many people that are on a pension are going to get their 3%, and that's it. So if inflation would stay with us at a higher rate than 3%, you're going to fall behind if you're on a pension-only plan. The advice we give is this: if a company offers you a pension and like a 403B, like they offer teachers, you need to be doing 403B from day one. You need to have investments and a pension. Not all of us are blessed with a pension. That means we need to save maximum to build our own retirement. If you think about your scenario, your financial fingerprint's all different. So you got to take advice based on what's directed for you. And that's why advice has to come from your own personal advisor. And that's one of the key things of how we handle inflation is on an individual basis for each client.
Absolutely. And every situation is so different. And a lot of people, they come in, Brian, and they ask us these questions like we can just have a blanket answer. What state should I live in? I go, okay, well, where's your family?
You don't say confusion? No.
So it's like everything has to be advice for you. You can't just read a book out there and say, okay, this book is written for me, because it's not. Mm-hmm. It's general advice. And you and I see it every day. So we can provide examples of what other people have done. Similar situations, different situations.
Yeah, so when I think about successful clients and the idea that you need to understand, and they're called savers, they save their money. If you're not a saver, you need to become a saver. Force yourself into being a saver. Put more money away and automatically to a savings account, more money away to your retirement account. Make it automatic. Make it every paycheck, every time you make money. Put this money away. Throw it to your future, because no one else is going to be throwing this money to your future. If we want to be able to handle inflation, we need more room in our budget. Pay off your debts. Get rid of those debts. Don't accumulate them more. If you need something badly, write it down and wait 30 days and see if you still need it 30 days from now. A lot of times you don't. You're on to the next thing that you really need. I mean, if you start fulfilling all those needs, your credit card will go from zero balance to 5,000 very, very quickly. And then all of a sudden you got a payment for life, which it's hard to fit into a budget that's already tight. So when it comes into this, the holiday seasons, and you think about all these things we could be doing with our money, understand that we're playing a long game. We want to win in retirement. That means we got to win each day. Win each day by making sure you're saving money for your future out of your budget, out of your planning. What I found is that if you just send that money off the top, you'll never miss it long term. You might miss it for a couple of weeks, but you'll figure it out.
Yeah, and so the thing about the credit cards you mentioned, I know the bank's not paying any interest on cash. The credit card companies are still charging interest.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to get theirs, and you need to make sure that you're in charge of your finances, not trying to keep up. And now's a great time to look at things because interest rates are low. If you have to restructure debt, now might be a good time to do it. Mm-hmm. The market's high. If you need to check out where your asset allocation is or make changes, now might be a good time to do it. And you're probably listening like, well, what does that mean, Alex? Just call me. We're here. This is what we do. We love it. At least I do. I know you do. You've been doing this since I was...
You don't know that I love it?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, come on, man.
You've been doing it so long.
No, I love helping people, and that there's a thrill to that. It's wonderful to say to someone, "Hey, you can retire," and they look at me and go, "No, I can." Like, oh, yeah, everything looks great. You've done everything you need to do. Now, that's not in the first meeting. That's usually about a year of meeting different times to get through all the different parts of life, because many people don't have all the fundamentals of financial planning done. There's lots of talk shows out there, lots of books, but the idea of actually going through the work of getting your finances in order takes time. Now, many people charge planning fees for that, and you do have to pay for the advice and help. You just need to go ahead and get someone to help you. It's just like in anything in life, you try to do it on your own, it's hard to accomplish your goals. Once you get some help, all of a sudden your goals just happen very quickly. It's wonderful.
It's funny when I meet someone, then they come in and they're like, oh, I know this, that, and the other. And I'm like, okay, well, let's log into let's see what's going on there. And they don't have a beneficiary listed.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if the money doesn't pass the way you want, doesn't matter.
If you had to break down people you meet with the first time, many of them have one thing they know really well, and they have all their money in that. And now some people have done it really well with that, incredibly well. And we try to say, take some winnings off the table, keep doing what you're doing, but build out the portfolio to meet your needs and your family needs for life. With inflation, we think that we need to have conservative advice that'll help your money last a lifetime. This is not a short-term battle to get through inflation next year. Inflation rises prices, and those prices do not come down. Now, what we have to do is have conservative advice, which sometimes seems boring. It might seem something like you don't want to do. But if you do the fundamental conservative things, get things in order, it's going to work out a lot better when you're in your retirement years.
Yeah, and you don't want to try to reinvent the wheel for your retirement. There's fundamental sound ways of investing. You might get some fear of missing out. And as the market gets higher and you see your neighbor or whoever bragging about X, Y, and Z, you might feel like you're missing out and you might try to chase returns. That gets you burnt in the long run.
You're talking about FOMO?
FOMO.
Yeah, I understand.
It's very real.
Well, the fear of missing out is when you're at that party, you got holidays coming up, you're going to have lots of parties. Everyone's going to talk about their investment that doubled or tripled. Your response back to them is, well, which one did you lose money on recently? How much money did you lose? The idea is this. Ask them back, are you financially independent? Can you retire tomorrow because you saved so well and everything looks perfect? That's really the result we want you to have. If you want to win in retirement, be financially independent. Because what we want in retirement is we want you to be able to get your time back. You decide how to use it. Before you retired, you were working all the time. Other people were telling you what to do, when to do it, how to do it. That was your main job. So what happens is that goes away in retirement. Your time is now consumed by what you want to do. We want you to be winning in retirement. Go ahead and give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. When you call, you leave a voice message, and Susan call you back on Monday to schedule a phone meeting, a virtual Zoom, or in person with one of our team of advisors to have that free conversation about you and what your goals are. Start planning right now by calling 833-946-7384 or visit AkersFinancialGroup.com. Does all the noise in the news cause you to do nothing? We'll explain what you should do in the fourth quarter.
You're listening to a pre-recorded show. Welcome back to Winning in Retirement. Call 833-WIN-RETIRE now to schedule a visit with Brian and his team and begin winning in retirement. Once again, here's Brian Akers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer. Yes, welcome back to Winning in Retirement. At Akers Financial Group, we want you to be winning in retirement. That's why we put on this show each and every week. I'm Brian Akers, and here with me today is Alex Monk. What we do when we plan out this radio show is put together 4 quarters of information that we bring together to give you the advice that our clients need, and we think you need it too. The earlier you take this kind of advice and start with your planning, the better you're going to be in the future. As certified financial planners, what we want to do is to begin with planning where you are to take you where you need to be. Financial advice is something that you need to educate yourself on and then have a financial advisor to come alongside to guide you from where you are now to those retirement years. At Akers Financial Group, we have a website, akersfinancialgroup.com. We just happen to call it. You go there, and on that website, you can check out our webinars, you can check out our radio show. Under the radio tab, what you'll see is we have a history of all of our shows. You can go back and listen to our different topics and learn more about what we're going over. Under the webinar tab, you can see some of the videos we put together over the last year. Those webinars are different topics that are very important for understanding what you should do in finance. Today, our radio show will be on our website by the middle of next week. So take a look. Listen to it as a podcast. Listen to it through the website. Just the main thing to do is to listen and understand more and more about personal finances and why it matters for you. So today's show, we put together these ideas, important questions, retirement questions that you need answered right now. And we've talked about many topics, and those topics have been from the basics of, hey, are we ready to retire? Cash flow, why does that matter? We talked about taxes, inflation, investment allocation, ideas on investments that you need to do in an inflationary environment, things to do, things on ways to think about taxes, about pay tax now and never again. But the fourth quarter, we got this new topic. Are you ready to go, fourth quarter, Monk?
This is where I shine.
All right. Yeah, he's a fourth quarter closer. He likes to win at the end. All right. Now, the question I have for you is this. Does all the noise in the news cause you to do nothing? What are your comments about that?
This has been a weird 2 years in that I think everyone was impacted by the news. And we only can control so many things, right? And that's going to be our reaction. So are you going to react negatively and not do anything? Or are you going to say, okay, things are changing. Now's the time for me to be proactive.
Yeah.
That's the way you want to look at things. Not, oh, I'm scared, I'm overwhelmed. That's what we're for. If you have questions, we're here to answer them. I don't have something I'm selling besides good advice. And I tell my wife this all the time. I said, I'm paid to be right, hon. She doesn't always like that. But we want to give the best advice for people. And a lot of the news can be overwhelming. There's talk of all types of different stuff out there right now. Crypto, so many different things. You talked about meme stocks earlier. There's things going up 50% overnight and down 50%. So there's a lot of stuff happening. Don't take that as a reason to not do anything. Take it as a reason to start.
Right. When you hear the news, and if you watch multiple channels like I do, you hear different views of the news, and you can almost see how different channels force you to think different ways. If you turned it off and put your thoughts together, you probably would have a more even kind of day. Now, news have to sell, and their goal is for you to listen to more. And that's it. That's their product. And so what we want you to do is to understand that a lot of the news is noise. Noise means it's chatter, like in the background. It's like kids in the back seat. Until they scream a certain scream, you know they're okay. But there's a certain scream, you know you got to stop the car. And people know. And the thing about news is this. We need to listen to some of the news and then turn it off and understand what truly applies to you. In financial planning, what we try to do is listen to that client about who they are, what goals they have, where they want to be in life, and then we take where their money is and make it all work together to accomplish their goals. That style of financial planning takes time. It's not driven by products. It's not driven by, buy this and you'll be fine. Weight loss doesn't work like that either. At least I found. You have to change your style of life. You got to, I've heard that if you eat less, you lose weight.
I'm not sure how weight loss works.
Well, people told me if you eat less, that's a trick. I think I'll try that one day. But after Thanksgiving, of course. Now, in financial planning, we're talking about the noise of the news. If that is emotionally changing you, making you stay up late and you're worrying about your money, that's not good. If your money is too risky, then you should make allocation changes. When we have lots of things going on, guess what? That always happens. There's always something going on every year in history that could make the market go down. There's also many things going well that are making the market go up. Earnings of companies are doing better. They're recovering. We're still in a recovery on the financial side of many companies. They're still opening. They're still getting their manufacturing going, getting people back to work the way they were, getting productivity where it was. Some companies have done incredibly well through all the issues the last few years. But what happens is this: the stock market, you need to watch it. Yes, it will go down and then it'll go up. And it will be 50,000 on the Dow someday, and it might also be 25,000 someday. We don't know when. We just got to plan our money to be okay. You should not have any money you need next year in a market that might be extremely volatile, because we don't want to sell when things do go down in the future, whenever that may be. So this noise you hear could cause you to make bad decisions. You need to be wise with your money. To be winning in retirement is about diversification, doing the fundamental things that you need to do to win. Defense wins championships. Same thing happens in financial planning.
And Brian, a lot of people, they make decisions out of fear. And that's not the best way to make decisions. So we are that partner or that sounding board for a lot of people, because you're going to be the one. You're going to know what you want out of life. We can't tell you what you want, but we can tell you how to get what you want. And that's a different thing for everyone. And you don't necessarily need to do the same thing that everybody on the news is, or the guy that sits next to you at work, whoever. You need to do what's right for you and your family. And it can be scary because you're out there on your own. But if you have a partner like us, it makes it a lot easier. It builds that confidence, because we've seen this. I mean, between the two of us, how many people retired this week? 3, 4?
Oh, man. I didn't really add that up. But I had 4 conversations of people ready to retire by December 31st. And so we've been working towards it the last 6 months. And this was sort of the final meeting before that. In November, it's been a huge tax estimation month, a huge Roth conversion month. There's a lot going on. One of the things this year, if you're over 70 and a half, or with the new law over 72, you have to look at your IRAs and retirement accounts, because you do have to do a withdrawal this year. It's called an RMD. That has to be done. In many companies, you got to have that done by the beginning of December. So don't forget to do an RMD off a beneficiary account, an RMD off out of your retirement account, and or out of your IRA, depending on what you own. So there's many things that are occurring this year where you got to make sure you dot all your I's and don't forget to dot some J's. When it comes to financial planning, retirement questions that you need answered right now, you need to know your situation. You need to know where things are. Financial planning helps you organize it, helps you understand where it is, and then helps you build a list of things to do for that next step. No matter what phase you are in life, you need to know what that next step should be. And that's what you should spend some time on. And go ahead and give us a call at Akers Financial Group. You can call 833-WIN-RETIRE, WINRETIRE to do that. All right, Alex, some final advice for people out there listening when it comes to questions and answers on retirement.
So if your wife is bothering you and she thinks that you're too risky, you should call us. We see it a lot. And there's no right answer. There's no one person in the family that...
But she's probably right.
She's probably right. I know my wife won't listen to this because she thinks I sound weird on the radio, so I can say that she's usually right. But you need to do what's right for you.
Yeah.
Are you in cash because you're scared? Mm-hmm. You need to make sure that's not the case. Mm-hmm. are you all in stocks? That can be a little scary. What's your asset allocation? What type of risk are you actually taking? What's inside that target date fund that you own? That's what you need to ask yourself. Is this right for me?
Yeah. These automatic funds put a portion into money markets making zero. And if you're 30, 40 years old, we just don't think that's right. And so you got to take a look at where your money is invested. One of the things when I was thinking about inflation is that there's fixed annuities that we work with to develop income, and we choose them that pay increasing income, where they'll actually give you raises on your paychecks during your retirement years. That will become extremely important when you see inflation over time. Inflation over time means, like if you think about a 4% inflation rate, if you're retired 30 years, your money, your expenses could double twice in a 30-year period. So you got to look at where you are. You got to have your retirement questions answered. And what we want you to do is just think about your situation, get organized, go to our website. We have some documents there you can begin to fill out as you get ready to give us a call. So go ahead and look at our website, akersfinancialgroup.com. Check out the radio tab, the webinars, and then that documents section, you can find out more about us and get the pages of information we'd like you to gather to be able to have that first meeting. We want you to win in retirement by taking this opportunity to begin planning with us at Akers Financial Group. Stop reacting to everything in life. Take opportunities. Move forward in your life. Thanks very, very, very much, Alex, for a good show. Appreciate it.
It was good, Brian.
It is. For you guys out there, go ahead and give us a call for a free meeting. Give us a call at 833-WIN-RETIRE. That's 833-WIN-RETIRE. When you call, leave us a voice message, and Susan will call you back on Monday. Schedule a phone meeting, virtual Zoom, or an in-person meeting with one of our team of advisors. Start planning for your retirement now at 833-946-7384 or visit akersfinancialgroup.com. Thank you for listening. I'm Brian Akers from Akers Financial Group, and we want you to be winning in retirement.
You've been listening to Winning in Retirement with your host, Brian Akers of Akers Financial Group. Brian Akers of Akers Financial Group is a registered representative offering securities through Kalos Capital Incorporated and investment advisory services through Kalos Management Incorporated. Akers Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of Kalos Capital or Kalos Management and does not provide tax and legal services. Advice given on Winning in Retirement is general in nature, and one should seek further advice from their financial advisor, broker, attorney, or tax accountant before investing. Be sure to read each prospectus carefully to understand all the risks associated with each investment.